Play Arsenal legitimate top 4 contenders 243 The FC panel debate if Arsenal will make a legitimate push for the Premier League's top 4 this season. 243,818 AM BST Manchester United have enjoyed a superb start to the season, but Jose Mourinho's men have yet to face a title rival so far. While Manchester City, Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool have all faced at least one side generally tipped to challenge for the Premier League, the highest-placed opponent United have taken on is Stoke, in 13th. However, Mourinho's men are scoring a hatful of goals. They've recorded 440 wins in the league so far and have improved upon the results in the corresponding fixtures last season. How well has each side fared this season? In relation to the matches last term, here's a look at each club's results. Man City, Brighton, Everton, Bournemouth, Liverpool, Watford, Crystal Palace, Chelsea 201,617 Form P6W3D2LIF 15A4 PTS 11,201,718 Form P6W5D1L0F 20A2 PTS 16 Sample taken from the opening 6 games of the season, as Brighton were in the Championship in 201,617. There's a remarkable symmetry between Manchester City's results from last season and this, with the exception of their games against title rivals Liverpool and Chelsea. Watford and Crystal Palace were both thrashed, Bournemouth were narrowly beaten away, and Everton pinched a point at the Etihad. But City are 5 points better off this season from their equivalent fixtures because of a vast improvement in performance and result in their biggest fixtures, which, just as significantly, has helped them open up a sizable gap over 2 potential rivals. Jonathan Smithman United, West Ham, Swansea, Leicester, Stoke, Everton, Southampton, Crystal Palace 201,617 Form P7W3D4L0F12A5 PTS 13,201,718 Form P7W61L0F21A2 PTS 19. The biggest change for United so far this season is being able to turn home draws into wins. West Ham and Everton both got a point at Old Trafford last season, 2 of 10 home draws in the league that killed any hope of challenging for the title. It is significant that United scored 4 against West Ham and Everton. Jose Mourinho's team struggled for goals in the league last season. They got only 54, but that hasn't been a problem this time. They already have 21 this season, nearly 40% of their total from last season and 9 more than in the corresponding fixtures from 201,617. Rob Dawson, Chelsea, Burnley, Tottenham, Everton, Leicester, Arsenal, Stoke, Manchester City 201,617 Form P7W6D0LIF 18A5 PTS 18,201,718 Form P7W4D1L2F12A6 PTS 13. Chelsea have picked up 2 fewer wins and 5 fewer points from their opening 7 Premier League matches than they did in last season's corresponding fixtures. That 32 defeat at home to Burnley on the opening day remains the ugliest stain on the record, while Arsenal's first positive result at Stamford Bridge since 2011 doesn't look brilliant for Antonio Conte's men, either. Emerging victorious from Wembley against bitter rivals Tottenham was an exceptional result, but also one cancelled out by being comprehensively outplayed by Manchester City at Stamford Bridge on Saturday. Indiscipline has undoubtedly been a factor in the diminished points haul. 3 red cards in 7 matches compared to none last season, and the absence of Eden Hazard has been huge. The Belgian started 6 of last season's 7 corresponding fixtures and scored 6 goals. Liam Twomey, Tottenham, Newcastle, Chelsea, Burnley, Everton, Swansea, West Ham, Huddersfield 201,617 Form P5W3D1L1F10A3 PTS 10,201,718 Form P5W2D2L1F8A4 PTS 8 Sample taken from 5 matches. As Newcastle and Huddersfield were in the Championship in 201,617. If there was any doubt about how difficult the move to Wembley has been for Tottenham, just look at the contrast in their home form. Last season, Spurs were nearly perfect at White Hart Lane, dropping just 4 points at home in the entire campaign. This year, they dropped 5 points in 2 matches at the National Stadium, and the hugely frustrating 0-0 draw with Swansea made it 7 from 3. The match against the Swans, who were swatted aside 50 in December, offers the biggest contrast, after Spurs once again lacked any cutting edge in last month's 0-0 draw. The flip side is that Spurs are now imperious on the road. Ignoring the victories over newly promoted Newcastle and Huddersfield as they were not in the league last year, they won comfortably at Everton, having failed to do so on their last 2 visits to Goodison Park. Similarly, they have suffered damaging 10 defeats at West Ham in each of the past 2 campaigns, but they raced into a 30 lead last month before the Hammers made it interesting. Arsenal, Leicester, Stoke, Liverpool, Bournemouth, Chelsea, West Brom, Brighton 201,617 Form P6W4D0L2F11A8 PTS 12,201,718 Form P6W3D1L2F9A7 PTS 10 Sample taken from 6 matches as Brighton were in the Championship in 201,617 Arsenal are following a fairly similar pattern to last season but are 2 points worse off, despite finally getting a point at Stamford Bridge. That's thanks to the loss at Stoke, which is the only major reversal for the Gunners this campaign. They've beaten Leicester, Bournemouth and West Brom at home again, and there's no need to remind anyone of the 40 drubbing at Anfield. Hopefully for the Gunners, the 0-0 draw at Chelsea is a better indication of the team's progress than the slip-up at Stoke, pet game in which they dominated but couldn't find a way to score. Liverpool, Watford, Crystal Palace, Arsenal, Manchester City, Burnley, Leicester, Newcastle 201,617 Form P6W3D1L2F9A8 PTS 10,201,718 Form P6W2D2L2F12A11 PTS 8 Sample taken from 6 matches as Newcastle were in the Championship in 201,617 Liverpool's poor start to the season has seen them fail to keep pace with the standard they set last campaign, which earned them a top 4 finish. They are still managing to score goals, but keeping them out at the other end continues to be a deep-rooted issue and is costing them points. Jurgen Klopp's side held an unbeaten record against the Premier League's top 6, but the 50 thrashing to Manchester City last month might suggest that this season will be different in that regard. The habit of dropping points to teams lower down the table appears to remain, in stark contrast to Manchester United's results against those sides so far this season.